Big up Spurs fans near and far. It's the day after tomorrow, and you can see by our faces, Spurs fans, pinch yourselves, pinch yourselves, pinch yourselves. It is for real. We have bloody got the trophy. We're in the Champions League, and I am joined by my esteemed guests, Eugene in the building, Zeus, Arthur. Eugene, I'll start with you. Big up to everyone that's locked in, locked on. Make sure you smash a like. Eugene, we were just discussing off stage, but how do you feel, man? Like, is this for real? Like you were saying, you were still checking your phone. Like,
So let me tell you this, Dej. First of all, big up to you. Like I told you, you and I have been talking this whole season. It's been dusty. It's been depressing. It's been terrible. But let me tell you this. So my teams, like I've seen them win 7 championships, and after they've been terrible for decades, I have never cried ever. 7 championships. So I'm at the bar with my supporters group. We have about 60 Yanks watching this. Final whistle blew. Everybody's tearing up. I'm tearing up. When I watch Sonny cry, I just broke down. I swear to you, I couldn't hold it in. And since then, every time I watch Son, it was so emotional. It was insane. Like I said, I still can't believe it. Honestly, I'm watching all the content, all the emergency streams, like just injected into my veins. And again, I swear to you, even now, like I watch back the videos, the ceremonies, everything else, I just still get emotional. Just again, like watching Sun and watching Eng, even though you know me, like I flip flopped on Eng, but as a human being, as a person, like after everything that he went through, and just watching Sun, Kane left, everybody leaves, Sun stayed on, regardless of how he played this season. Just watching him live the trophy that he deserves and become a club legend, I still get emotional just like talking about it. And again, I never cry. Like it was it was amazing, amazing feeling.
fantastic. I'm gonna go to Arthur next, man. Give us your intro. Is it real? Have you pinched yourself? Marlon, you go after, and Zeus before we kind of get into it. But there's a lot to discuss in a short period of time. Arthur, you always knew, you always believed. Look at that grin.
No, he did. Big up to you, Arthur,
Man.
because last time we talked, you were
Yeah.
telling me. So I got to give it up to you. Big up to you.
Yeah, for real.
Look, it's unreal, man. It's unreal. Like it's literally one of the best feelings, and it's unparalleled for me. It's there's just so much. There are so many stories involved in this. There are so many story arcs and narratives and redemption, and there's just so much, right? It's so rich of like full on emotion, and I knew it. Like obviously you don't know you're going to win. You can't choose. You can't decide to win something. But what you can do, which I believe Ange has done, and obviously you guys know, having spoken to me before, that I'm an outlier in my love for the guy and my hope for him. I am, and I don't feel vindicated. It's not that, because I know and I understand the chat around him, and I understand that this is just a game and whatever. But it's more to do with the culture that came at the pride that I felt watching my team, the way that we managed ourselves, the way that we went about this whole thing, and it's about us. It's not about United, but that's our comparison point. The feeling. I mean, I wasn't. My old man was in Bilbao. My dad was in Bilbao. I couldn't be there because of work, and he was saying, just the feeling around the place was that we all wanted to be there. We all wanted to be there. We wanted this feeling. We wanted to this feeling of winning. And the players was the same as well. Like the noise in the stadium, apparently, that my dad was saying, he was talking about how proud he was of the Spurs fans, about the atmosphere we created. And that I think that got us over the line. That got us over the line in the whole tournament. That got us over you know, all the injuries we were having and all the difficult games. And there was something about, and this sounds a little bit like contradictory, but there was something about the ugliness of the way we won that made it even more beautiful for me. Like there was something about, like, we just were not going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Take our 3 creative midfielders and putting them on the treatment table. Like, get players that have been disjointed and are tired, that have been having to deal with 20 losses in the league and still pick themselves up and still believe in themselves. Like, we just fucking would not win that game yesterday. We just did what we needed to do. And for me, there was beauty in the ugliness of it. There was beauty in the fact that after all this chat and after all the comments people have made about Ange and no plan B and not, I mean, it's just a crock of shit, man. It's just a whole load of lazy sports journalism. It is, because we watched us away against Frankfurt. We watched us away against Bodo. We watched us, you know, get that 1-0 win against City in the League Cup. We have been playing differently when needed, and sometimes when it's needed is because we don't have the players to do otherwise. He's not stupid. Like we can all have disagreements about whether we like his approach, but he wasn't going to try and play a ball holding possession based game when our 3 most creative midfielders weren't playing. He was smart, man. He outsmarted the other team, the other team's manager. He did what he needed to do to win, because guess what? He's a fucking winner. No matter where he has been and no matter what we think about shit, he knows how to win. And his results in knockout football, we don't win stuff, guys, until now. We don't win this shit until now.
For real. And Arthur, there's going to be plenty of time to dive in. But look,
that was just like pride. It was all about pride for me yesterday.
Yeah. No, big up. I just want to throw in Marlon for his intro, Zeus, and then we're going to get into the game. We're going to get into Ange's comments, and then we're going to get into what the future looks like. But Marlon,
what's the question? What are you asking me?
Man, the day after tomorrow, man. What is, you know, what's been going through your mind? You pinching yourself. You knew it was going to happen. You know, where do you sit?
Well, to be fair, knew it was going to happen. No, I have faith in Ange. So I'll tell you why. I think he's been mocked, belittled. I think the media have got some mad agenda against him. So to be fair, I'm happy for us as Spurs fans, but I'm also happy for him because the treatment he's got, because his background, people might not like it, his background, where he's from, his nationality, where he's achieved, people just over here, I think maybe it's a European thing as well. They're not giving the respect he's due. And I'm glad what he said has come to fruit now, because enough people can shut their mouth and it's give the man the respect he deserves. As you said earlier, I've always been an Angian. I've always been, just give him a chance. Keep changing managers ain't going to work for Spurs. Keep changing managers, nothing's going to be a whole new process. Give the man a chance. Hopefully he's still there. And then you will see Spurs do a lot better than what they are. You have to sometimes stick with a manager, give him a chance. But watching that game yesterday, I think for the first time watching it, I walked out with like 5 minutes to go. I was like, I don't know if I can take it anymore. It was so nerve-wracking yesterday.
I was on the floor.
I walked out, I said, I can't watch no more. And I just let peeping. I was like, nah, but I'm glad we done it. We deserve it. And I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there Sunday. Listen, it's just gonna be nice.
Big up, Marlon, big up. Zeus, are you still shell shocked?
Yeah, to be 100%. Like, I really don't know what to feel, in the sense that Spurs, what does it mean to be Spursy and all that? Like, our identity is always the nearly men and all that kind of stuff. So now that we've won, is that who we are? We're European champions. Is that how we, you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of still processing. Like, Champions League was not on my mind at all. And it's like, holy shit, we're in the Champions League. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we won something like relevant. Like, I'm still struggling to really know how to feel. Yeah, like, I'm kind of just dealing with a lot. You know, I don't know how to feel. Like, to be fair, I didn't watch the game as I would have liked to. A friend said, let's go watch it at this bar. And it was a United bar. And before I got in there, like, one guy's like, you don't want to go in there, take off your United scarf. I've never seen a Canadian bar like this. It was super rowdy. So I didn't really get to celebrate and let out all my emotions as the goal came in and all that. But I'm trying to still processing, because it's like, we won a fucking trophy, man, like a European trophy, and it's like we have a new identity. I feel like almost bulletproof, like all the social media, like Anta and all that. What are people gonna say? Oh, okay, your boy, well, not your boy, but Kanebi and them guys, you know about that crazy WhatsApp
Yeah,
group,
yeah.
like 90 people, and I'm like the
Yeah.
only Spurs guy, and they just abuse. Like, I haven't heard from him, by the way. He's like ducked, like completely, you know what I mean? And it's like, what can people say about us? I know we shouldn't be, identifying like how other teams or fans view us, but it's like it really nobody can say anything. They can't chat to us anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like no one can say anything anymore. So still processing, but elated at the same time. No more hate.
Come on, man. Come on and enjoy it. And look, because Eugene has probably the least amount of time of us all, I want to manage time really, really quickly this evening. And big up to everyone that's locked in. Smash the likes. You can see the fact that we're streaming at 20 to 1 UK time shows you we ain't going bed. We are celebrating this trophy for the next 6 months. So I want to get into the first thing. First and foremost, Arthur touched on it, and I'm going to throw it to Eugene. And then in the same order again, the performance, everyone's saying that the performance from both teams was dusty and Tutankhamun. It was dusty. However, we had performances from Romero, Van de Ven, goal line clearance. Are we now saying that, Ange, I just want your thoughts on the game itself and who were the standout players for you? Who stepped up? I'm seeing people who have been cussing Brennan Johnson, me included, today, shaking my bum violently for the kid. Do you get what I'm saying? And saying, thank God Brennan was there. I don't care how it went over the line. So, Eugene, quickly, the game, your thoughts on the game. Arthur's touched on it, but we're going to go back to Arthur for some more in-depth analysis. Is that how you wanted to see the game to get us to winning the trophy?
It's funny too. It's like everybody who I personally slagged off, like Ange, I flip flopped on them maybe 1,000 times. Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, who I wanted to see gone, Bissouma, all the players who I didn't have any time for, and I mean maybe I still don't, I don't know, but they all stepped up. And I was talking to my WhatsApp groups before the game, just given who we had missing, no creativity at all. I told them, look, for both us and United, I can only see both teams scoring from across, like from crosses, just from wide play, right? Like Poro was the only, in my mind, the only player on our team who can put in a pass or a cross. Yeah. And it was interesting. Sar was the one to put in a cross, the best cross probably of his life, because he's not known for his passing or crossing, which was crazy. So I mean, for a neutral, it was probably a shit game, to be honest. For me, I was just happy. We saw Jose masterclass second half. And given who we had at our disposal, and if you look at the bench, when I saw Archie Gray come in, I was nervous. Like Spence, I was happy with Danso. I knew Danso was going to come in. But we just didn't have that many options. So I felt like this is the only way that we could play. We really didn't have anybody who could help us attack through the middle. It was all about just wings and going the counter. And United are just as bad, if not worse. Like no creativity. Like I was like, you know what? If we neutralize Bruno and Ahmad on the wing, we should be fine. Rich did a great job on Ahmad, just doubling him every time, especially in the second half. Bruno, I don't know why Amram played him as a 6. So we overran him in the midfield. Bissouma, Sar, Bentancur just worked their asses off, just running around, dark arts with Richie and Romero. So it was just, it was like when we don't have a lot of skilled players on the team, on the pitch, it was all about effort, heart, dark arts, and experience. And I was slagging off Romero too, but that was a proper captain's performance. The effort, him organizing the back line, it was just, I just saw heart. And it was obvious with the fans in Bilbao, just mostly our fans just singing their hearts out, even in the pub. Like this place is crawling full of United fans, but at the pub it was mostly Spurs fans just singing, and the players, I felt like they channeled all that emotion. And even though we were missing our best players, or three best midfielders, it was all about just hard work, hard and dark hearts, and that makes it even sweeter. Like that 1-0, this the grimy result, it's amazing.
Fantastic. I big up to you, man, and I love that. I'm gonna, Arthur, I'm taking you on from there, following on from Eugene's comments. The question I want to add into your answer, please, is: were we a bit lucky? And I'm thinking about, there was a couple of Vicario moments where he looked a little bit suspicious. We didn't really create that many chances, but I agree with Eugene. There was something about the manner in how we won. It was ugly, but you said it. It was ugly, but it was beautiful at the same time. But was there a little bit of luck involved?
I mean, there's luck involved in every victory, in every match. Like but you make your own luck and you take advantage of stuff and you play what's in front of you. As far as I was concerned, Vicario made a mistake, but then Mickey van der Ven did an incredible goal line clearance, and that wasn't lucky. He's our player. He's our man. He's a Spurs player. So when he does good stuff, it's on Spurs. It's not, oh, thank God for Mickey van der Ven. He's our player. There's a whole host of things in a game, and it's on moments, isn't it? And the truth is that if one of those had gone in, if United had scored or equalised, the game would have been different, and we may have gone on and scored 3. Do you know what I mean? We played the game. And we managed the game based on what was happening in front of us, what we knew United would bring or not bring, and what we knew we had. And it's hard to overemphasize the journey of the last couple of weeks of seeing players that we rely on for very specific jobs to work in the system that when everyone is fit, we know can work. We've just seen them drop like flies. To lose Maddison, to lose Bergvall, player of the season for us, young player and just general player of the season, looking so impressive as he's getting further down in the season, and then to lose Kulusevski when he was just coming back and starting to look like he might not be at his best, but still be very useful. That's extraordinary. And there's no complaining. Do you know what I mean? There's an acknowledgement of, there's a new challenge. But every time that happens, no matter what's going on, the manager says it's an opportunity for someone to step up. And man, did they step up. Sarr ran and ran and ran. Bissouma, where the fuck has he come from in these performances? We haven't seen that since before he got sent off against Luton, last year or whenever it was. Where did that come from? And Johnson, he does the same thing over and over and over again. And I don't think people realize how difficult that is. He gets the position he gets into over and over and over and over and over again is incredible. And it's just discipline. And players don't do that unless they're buying into what they're doing. They don't do that unless they buy into what the manager is asking of them. And I just think, for me, the reason why I found the ugliness beautiful was because it felt as though, in so many different ways, Ange was sticking 2 fingers up at so many different people for so many different comments at so many different times. And
especially the Evening Standard journalist.
Oh, mate, I love this man. I love this man of him. What a fuck! He's a fucking clown. Dan Kilpatrick. It's just what it is. What it is it's just boring. It's just basic and simplistic and boring, and there's more to it than that. It's more complex than that. These are human beings. There's so many variables going on. The idea that this man would be hero or zero, it's just a lazy thing of trying to create a story where there isn't one. There's an incredible story.
Was it clown or thing? I think that was too.
He said clown. He used clown.
He said clown.
Zero,
he said clown.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's just even the idea of being a zero or a hero based on one game. It's just reductive, isn't it? Let's be honest. We followed them the whole season. We've followed this club for years. We've seen it go on all sorts of journeys. And for me, that was what was so beautiful about it was that moment, like whenever it was in the 70-something minute, when Van der Ven did that clearance, it just felt like they were all just going, "Thou shalt not fucking pass, not on my watch. We could be playing this game for another 2 days, but you are not scoring, man. You're just not. It's not happening." And that to me just showed everything about character, everything about the desire, everything about the belief that they could really change the history and the story of our club, the recent history and the story of our club. And it doesn't get changed overnight. The reason why we were scared, the reason why Eugene was worried when Archie Gray was coming on, the reason why 1-0 is the reason why you couldn't watch it for the last 5 minutes is because we know our history and we are part of the history. We're nervous in these things because we know how hard it is to get over the line. And the fact that we got over the line in the context of all of that history and that weight is actually quite heroic. You know, It wasn't just, they weren't just playing Man United yesterday. They were playing themselves. They were playing their mentality. They were playing every single person that's told them that Spurs doesn't win anything. They were playing every fan in the stadium who desperately was nervous at 1-0 because actually I find 1-0 more stressful than 0-0 because we've got something to lose then. It's my least favourite scoreline for that game. I'm on edge. But that's because I'm a Spurs fan. That's because when we're 3-1 up with 2 minutes to go, I'm still worried. And that can change now, man. That can change. They've done it. They've won this thing now so that we can start buying in to the reality that we know what it is to win something significant. So we're going to do it again. We could get our second trophy in 2 months' time. Man. Like, it's going to be a fucking roll. Let's ride it.
For real. Just hold on there. I just want to big up to everyone. Lee Collison, thank you for the super chat. Big up to you. And TJ Warren is a disgraceful guy. Red top. Well, I'm not even going to be saying that anymore. You're not even a Red Spurs mate because you man ain't won no trophy. You man are just red hot chili peppers. He's saying, Marlon, that the Europa League is a dusty competition. So I want to hear from you. Thank you for the super chat. But I want to hear from Marlon in relation to Postecoglou's management of the game. He did something we've never seen before. And I want you to just talk about that and say, look, and also, like, why hasn't he done this? Like, why didn't he employ these sorts of tactics earlier on? He alluded now to the fact, Arthur, we discussed this the last time we met, that maybe this was always the game plan after we came out of the Carabao Cup. So, Marlon, I've been seeing you in the same WhatsApp group. You made those kind of assertions quite early on where you were getting chopped down by a brother called Pipes in the chat. So yeah, talk about that and talk about the fact that people are trying to. We've got some Red Hot Chili Pepper fans who are trying to say that maybe it doesn't carry the same weight.
What I will say is, cup competitions are different from league games. In a league games, Tottenham generally go for it, but obviously in Europa, we've changed our tactics, especially when we're away from home or got something to hold on to. We've changed it. We went to Conte style. I wouldn't even say Mourinho. I think it was more Conte, but maybe both. But obviously, it's an eyesore. But when needs must, you got to do it. You got to think. We missed our 3 key, well, let's say creative players, and he went for legs in the midfield, and it worked. But I've always said from the beginning, when we got our strongest team out, Spurs are a very good team. You see that back 4 is very good when they're all together, match fit, because this is what a lot of people, I'd say some fans, also the media, they expect players when they're injured, especially if they've got a long-term injury, to come back straight away and be fully fit because they play too many computer games, and that's not reality. Let's be honest. I played at the steadiest level, but obviously when you've had a long-term injury, you're never going to hit that same height. So now we're seeing the Van der Vens and Romero. Yes, Spurs gave up on the league several months ago, and it is concentrated on the cups. You could see their performances in them games. It's pride and joy watching Spurs play, especially Frankfurt away. That was a hard game, you know. And that defense was solid. Udogie, I've got to give him his praises. These last 3 or 4 games in Europe, it's been the man. Even Spence's performances has kind of dropped. It's come like, with me, I don't know if Spence might not be able to handle a bit of competition. But when there was no competition, Spence was playing good, isn't it? But when you
Yeah.
doggy got better and was more match fit, I would say Spence kind of fell off. But as I said, our back four, to me, it could be one of the best in the Premiership.
Look, that Frankfurt game, Marlon, that Frankfurt game, we had a clean sheet in the Frankfurt game. That was the first time Frankfurt hadn't scored at home for over a year. And that, there's no chat about that. There was never any chat in the media about that. About whether our guy was going to be a clown. That's the stuff that matters. That's the stuff that matters. And that's the stuff that makes him go, oh, we could win this fucking thing.
Yeah. Another thing is as well, with Ange, a lot of people saying, handball. Yeah, he does do handball in the league. But when it comes to the crunch, in those key games, he changed his tactic. Remember they said he has no plan B. Even you, Deji, I watched it a few times. Deji, please. Sometimes I'm thinking, let me Deji, but I thought, let me leave the positivity, leave him, get it out of his system. But you've got to sometimes work with managers. Look at, for example, Alex Ferguson. You know, I think maybe a game or one game saved his career, and look how he achieved so much. I think Ange is onto something. Don't get me wrong. I'm hoping. I think he deserves it. And I think it's more, he deserves it. We deserve it as fans, but I think he deserves it because he's been mocked. I think the media, sorry, I'm going off track a bit. I think the media is horrible. They've been so horrible to this guy, and he backs Spurs. That's what I love about him. He backs Spurs when not even some of the people inside Spurs are backing him. He backs Spurs to the max, and I respect him just for that as well. No matter what the media throw at us, all these narratives about us not winning stuff, the fans are this and that, he backs Spurs, and that's what I respect about him the most. He's like a father figure for those players, and I think that's a key thing. He's brought everyone as a family. Yes, it's been a rough season, but it's been a rough season because we've had injuries to key players and it's been long term. And for Spurs to even win this Europa Cup without those three players, when Man U had their full team, you have to give them respect as well. And I have to even give Johnson his respect as well, because I go to games, he's a hit and miss. And I'm glad he won that for us yesterday. Even though it weren't his goal, but he put himself into that position and got us the win. He deserves it. The whole team deserves it. We all deserve it as fans. No matter how much, I don't even want to call Arsenal's name. They can belittle this cup. They've never won it. They've won cup winners cup, no more. And I think it was some Fairs Cup. You lot would want to win this cup because you've been in this competition. You've been in 2 finals and you've lost. This is a cup you've never won, and we won it 3 times. Give us some respect. Deserve it as fans.
Put some respect. No, big up. Hold that, Arsenal fans. Hold that.
Sorry.
I want to get Zeus in, and then I'm going to get Eugene in quickly before he has to go. But you, Zeus, just quickly, this game had so much riding on it. It was all or nothing. And I know that journalist was a disgrace for the comments that he made, but at the same time, he did secretly have a point, lads, which is that I'm grateful that
for the club,
we were on the right side of the fence. But what I think, Zeus, I want to know about Tottenham. The reason why we had the word Spursy is because when the going got tough, we could just never seem to get it over the line. We're just but this has got to be the most pressurized trophy we have ever won. And Zeus, I want you to unpick that. Like, what has Ange done? How did he do that? Because had he flopped, had we not won yesterday, I don't know if you man would have ever seen me again. I'm just keeping it real. Like, how do you do to get this result, guys?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying, was it luck? Not at all. I think it was, like tactically, Postecoglou was better than Amorim. Amorim he's rigid, like he's proper rigid, like he's not changing anything. You know exactly what he's going to do all the time. Like I was, the starting lineup, Odebear in the 10 maybe, and prior to this game, right? And experimented, like starting Richarlison on the left. I was seeing that a couple games. I forget what game it was. I think he actually scored like the last game we played, league game anyways. And I had question marks about that. And yeah, like, but Richarlison came in and he did a job. He did a great job. I thought he knew this game. He was going to make it physical, and a goal was going to come for a set piece. And I know people were saying the game was dusty, but I missed maybe most of the second half. I started watching, the first half. I started watching and we scored. And I knew what to expect would be we're going to sit back and try and hit him on the counter. And so to me, that we did what was expected. Granted, I didn't see the entire game, but that's what I expected to happen, and it did happen. So I'm not, that narrative of it being like bad. I can't buy into that because of based on what I saw. Like, to me, he just outcoached Amorim. Amorim wasn't quick to react enough, or he should have reacted earlier because it's a final. I would expect him to be making changes in the 60th rather than the 70th. So, like, just tactically, Ange won the battle. So full credit to him, right?
Yeah, big up. Yeah, 100% big up. Look, I'm going to go to the poignant question now because I know Eugene's got to go and I really want to hear his points and then you guys can fly. The question I have now is, look, we've done it. We got the we're in Champions League. We got the Europa League. And leading up to this, there were a number of Spurs fans, including myself, that said, even if he wins, he's got to go. And every Spurs fan, every YouTube channel, every pundit, because we can't, this is not putting a downer in it. This is just us having a conversation now that we've won, because sometimes things can be different when you're in the moment. Eugene, I'm throwing the question to you first. Given what's happened, given how you feel, you've been pinching yourself, you've been checking your phone, do you have a different view of Ange? And does Ange get to start the season for us next season?
I've been flip-flopping on Ange this whole season. I was backing him when everybody weren't until kind of 80%, 75% through the season, at which point I'm like, you know what, that's untenable. He's got to go. Probably 30 minutes before the final, I'm like, you know what, win or lose, he's got to go. Now, my head says one thing, my heart says something else. My heart says he won, he deserves to see out the next season, or at least, half of it. My head says it's a critical season for us, right? Champions League, we're going to get some backing, hopefully some money. We need to spend that money correctly. We cannot make the same mistake as Man U did with Ten Hag, where they gave him money, he spent it, then they sacked him a few months in, and then Amorim came in with Ten Hag's players. So I love Ange for what he did. I think this is as good as it's going to get. I think just like some of the players in our club, they lack consistency, like Bissouma, Madison. They can be brilliant, but they're not consistent every game. With Ange, I feel like in cup games, one-off games, he can win. I just feel like, based on what I've seen, I just don't feel like he can get the team to compete on all fronts. Again, based on just the injuries and everything else, just based on how he plays, I just don't think we can succeed in the league with him. So I would not be against, and honestly, I would still be like, Ange, you're a legend. You can go out on top. Drop the mic. Tell us, I told you so. We'll love you forever. But bring in a manager who can compete on all fronts, and with the Paratici coming in, hopefully, and the new leadership and the money that's going to come in, that new manager needs to be in charge of that. Now, if it doesn't happen, if Ange stays, it is what it is. I'll be like, you know what, you deserve, you earned it. So I'm torn.
Okay.
My head says one thing, my heart says something else, and I'm not sure which way I'm gonna lean in. And I've been telling you before, I would kill for a trophy, any trophy. But what I want to see this club do is compete for top trophies consistently. right? Not one trophy or one final every 5, 6, 7 years. I want us to compete on annual basis every single year. And I just feel like in order for us to compete at that level for top trophies, we just need a manager that's more adaptable, who can do what Ange does in the cup games, just who can do it in the league as well. So it's tough.
This question here is for you as well. This because I know you're going, but this question is for you. Even if he wins the Super Cup, does your opinion slightly change?
I mean, again, I have no doubts. Again, I'm just going based on the evidence. Ange can win a one-off game or a cup competition. That's not in doubt. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he won a Super Cup. But again, for me, it's not about, at this point, about an individual trophy. I don't want to go through another season where we finish 17th in the league. The monkey's off our back. I don't want to see that again. Right now, I just want us to make that leap and to challenge consistently and be with the big boys. And I just have my doubts that Ange, based on his philosophy, based on how he plays, even though I respect it, and I respect him as a man, and he, again, to me, he'll always be a club legend. I just don't think he's that guy. And again, not about the trophies, just about kind of how you need to manage the squad across all competitions, season in, season out. I'm just not sure he's that guy.
Fair, Eugene. Thank you very much.
Boys, I love you all.
Yeah, thanks.
Love you guys.
Eugene. Big up, man.
I'm so happy. Again, I could be on the stream with you this whole year. Guys, it's a pleasure talking to you. People in the chat, hit those likes. Man.
Don't worry. I promise people, this is the calm stream before the storm. All those cronies that I told you, you're in for a royal cooking. Don't worry. It starts from tomorrow. Hence why we're streaming at this time. But yeah, no, Eugene, big up to you. Thank you for being in the location. Arthur, I could see from his face, he was jumping at the bit real quick. And then Marlon,
love you, Eugene. Peace out.
I know you got to go soon, so I'm going to get you straight in after Arthur as well. But Arthur, you heard Eugene. You always knew. In fact, I would almost go as far as to say you always knew that this was the plan. So I need to hear from you. Was this the plan, and what is the plan moving forward?
Yeah, it was the plan. It was the plan because it was the plan when a plan needed to be made. For me, I look at it slightly differently than Eugene, in the sense that my heart thinks one thing and my head thinks another thing, the same thing. Like, this is it. My heart is with Ange. My head is with Ange. My desire for this club to stick with a guy who has spent most of his time at the club so far pissing into the wind, dealing with all the doubters, all the naysayers, all the people saying he doesn't understand what he's doing, he can't manage a squad, he can't be successful in the league. All of the people saying that, all of the people that every time he speaks, mocking him by deciding to like say something and then say mate at the end of it as though it's some kind of pejorative. Like, the guy, for me, has actually managed the squad brilliantly. I think we've just got to take a few things at face value, okay? He wants to be manager of our football club, right? I believe him. I believe him because, you know, I think he's a good guy. When he said in the post-match press conference, which I fucking loved, when he said, look, when I got to the end of January, after the end of our transfer window, and essentially what he's saying is I looked at who came in, who we managed to buy, how many players were on the treatment table. Van der Ven has played 12 games, 12 league games in a 36-game season. Romero has played 18. Vicario has played 20. Like, we're talking about the most important players in the spine of our team who have missed over half of the league games. And he got to the end of January and he looked at the squad and he was like, this squad is not going to survive a league campaign of anything of note. We're not going to win the league. We're not going to win the league, right? We knew that before January, but certainly by the end of January, okay, what are we going to do in the league? If we throw everything into the league, if we rush players back from injury, if we don't protect players for the Europa League games, and we just throw everything into the league, what is going to happen? Okay, maybe we'll finish 8th. Because at best, there is no manager in the world that would won a league with the squad that we had and the injuries we had. There is no manager in the world, I don't believe, that would have got us into the top 4 or 5 with all the injuries we had. So what is the point in busting a gut and risking players to achieve 8th or 9th and then having injuries in the one competition we could win because it's a knockout competition and because we can look down the line and see that some players are coming back from injury. And they're like, okay, we're going to get to the knockout stages and it looks like Van de Ven might be back. We're going to get to the quarterfinals and it looked like we're going to have Vicario back or whatever. The plan was there. And he looked at it and he said, there's only one route to success this season. Success is not 7th in the league, valiantly getting to 7th, even though we've got a depleted squad of injuries and nothing in the cup. That is not the success he thinks is going to change our club. And we know, just by the conversation we've had already today, how much winning a significant trophy is already changes the feeling that we have about our club. I feel so much more excited about the future and so much happier winning Europa League yesterday than I did when we finished 3rd or 2nd in the Premier League. The thing I felt about finishing 3rd or 2nd in the Premier League was, oh, we're onto something, we're building. But we were still being whacked around the head with the you don't win anything, you don't get trophies for 2nd. There's nothing good about being 3rd and then saying, well done. You know, don't pat yourself on the back for being almost men, nearly men. Like he didn't choose to finish 17th in the league, but he made a decision as a manager. And something I have huge respect for is that other managers wouldn't have made the same decision because of their ego. He took on the chin the fact that he knew we were sacrificing the league and he was going to have to show up pre-match and post-match of every game and have to try and justify without revealing exactly what his plan was, because you can't go out in January and say, do you know what, guys, I ain't thinking about the league anymore. Everything's about Europa League. Because that obviously that he'd be vilified for that. But he was doing it. But that's what he did. And every decision he made was based around the one idea that he believed that we could win the Europa League. And we bloody did it. Like, that's it. To me, that's exceptional management, because there's no way that Conte or Mourinho or other managers that we've been linked to or have had in the past would have been able to let go of their ego enough to say, I'm just going to keep on going I'm going to keep on doing this, no matter how much people are telling me I'm stupid, no matter how much people are mocking me for not having a clue just because I've managed in Australia and Japan and Scotland, no matter how many people are undermining me, I'm just going to carry on doing it, because he doesn't have the ego that ruins things for our club. His ego is entwined with the ego of the club. He came in and he realized after a year at our club that the one thing we needed to do to change things was to win something. That was the one thing. He knew that he didn't have time to not worry about the cups and just build a league side and finish 6th and 7th and 4th. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, 3rd. Oh, maybe we'll win the league next year. No. That's not changing how we feel about ourselves. What changes how we feel about ourselves is saying we are the best team in a competition. 36 teams started that competition and we won it. We won it. And that is not an easy feat. We've seen that. It's not an easy feat.
Respect it. We have to respect it.
So for me, he managed the squad brilliantly because he knew that he was sacrificing the league in order to prepare the team for Europe. And I have so much respect for someone who takes that risk. And now I think about all of those press conferences where it must have been so tempting just to go, do you know what, guys, fuck you all. This is what I'm doing. The reason why I'm playing Archie Gray sent off is because I'm thinking about the Europa League. So fuck off. He must have been wanting to do that so many times, man. And I have respect that he didn't. He just took on the chin and let people call him an idiot, knowing that he'd have the last laugh. And that to me is an unbelievable redemption arc in our season.
Yeah, it was a calculated.
Go on, Marlon. You might as well follow on.
I said it was a calculated risk, and I think it's obviously with the the injuries to our back four. Well, not Porro. Let's say everyone but Porro, like Vicario, Romero, Van de Ven, and Udogie. If he played them in every game, leagues and cup games, the injuries would have kicked in and we wouldn't have got this far. So he did take a calculated risk and it paid off for him. I'm happy for him. But you can tell when he weren't fielding the strongest team, that the focus was on Europa. Because no matter how much we tried, if we did try and go for like 5th or 6th, we wouldn't have got us in this position. So you have to give him his respect. He said he was going to win his second season.
He did it, man.
And he done it. And I'm happy for him. He stood by his ground. They kept mocking him, and he pulled it off. So yeah, well done to Ange and well done to us Spurs fans. It's been a hard season this year. So it's been very lucky.
Yo, Marlon didn't answer the question.
Huh? Do you have to go?
No, Marlon hasn't answered. Is he getting next season or what?
Yeah.
He can get 10 seasons. I've never waited him out.
Really?
Marlon has been fighting people in the WhatsApp group. I wish Marlon was there. Marlon has been fighting, like literally boxing people in the chat.
Like Andy's my best friend.
Man after my own heart, man.
Word.
Man after my own heart. That's what I've been doing.
They're like, what has Ange got on you? I'm like, what do you mean? I said,
he's a human being. He's a human being.
I got a question for Zeus, and then guys, feel free to chip in as well on this question. And then I got the last question, so we'll finish on the hour. Zeus, you heard Arthur say something, and you heard Marlon say something about this kind of feels different. Part of me is a bit nervous because we won in 2008, the Carabao Cup, and we were told once we win, we were going to kick on. And here we are 17 years later. I guess, looking at Arthur's face, he already knows where I'm going with this. But is this another, we've won, Postecoglou gets a statue, and then we got to wait another bloody 15 plus years before our next trophy? Or do you think, well, first of all, are you in or out? And depending on whether you're in or out, do you think we can kick on and win more trophies?
Okay. Had a 3-year plan at the beginning of the season when he first came in, or for any new manager in any club. First year is kind of like a free hit. Prove that you're not a dud. 5th position. 2nd year, win a trophy. 3rd, challenge for the big trophies. And 17th place, which
Europa League is a big trophy, though. Europa League is a big trophy, no?
Well, the biggest. I'm the top 2, like champs or the league in year 3. So the 2nd year, he won a trophy, a very decent trophy. And based off of that, I will have to give him, for me, he starts next season. Maybe he gets like 10 games or something like that. No, seriously, like, because 17th is crazy. Like, that is crazy. I was thinking 11th at worst, right? 17th is kind of insane if you think about it.
You definitely know, Zeus, that like the last 5 games, objectively, have all been about Europa League.
I was gonna actually say that. Like, if you look at it, like, the season starts and we're up there and thereabouts. Injury crisis hits and we fall off badly. Then players start coming back, but maybe at that time the focus switched to Europa. So there's a whole bunch of things there. So next he starts the season. But they have to really look at the transfers in the summer. Like, it can be like the Ten Hag situation where you're getting players that fit Ten Hag's team. Ideally, it's someone that are just good players that if they think about a next manager, they can work with it. Kind of thing. But that's the goal for in my eyes. Like, we have to challenge for the champs is pushing it, but we have to at least get to the later stages of the champs and challenge for the league. Like, that's my.
You wouldn't take. And I'm opening this to the floor. Would the panelists take another season of bottom half finish with another trophy?
What's the trophy?
It could be. I'm talking anything from Carabao Cup, Carabao FA Cup.
No, I think
Carabao FA Cup and a bottom half finish.
I think it's unnecessary because I don't think that's the deal. I think this year was so unique because of our injuries. I mean, I think the sort of injuries, the ones that we can definitely attribute to just bad luck, like Vicario, Solanke's knee, Romero really because it was a thigh, it wasn't even a hamstring. The suspensions for Bentancur, that whole fucking racist thing, Bissouma fucking snorting oxygen, whatever. Like all of these random things create like it's not a deal that I think we have to make. I don't think we have to choose one thing or another, but we had to make that decision in the throes of the league. Come January, a decision had to be made. It's not like he said at the beginning of the season, I don't give a fuck about the league, we're going to win the Europa League. What he did was he did an about turn when the narrative and the context was asking him to do so. Now, for me, I would take next season. I want to experience next season, but I would take a top 5 finish and winning the FA Cup, because for me, not because I think that's good enough, but because we need to get winning into our system.
And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, Arthur. Wouldn't you just, even if we finish 14th next year with the FA Cup, ain't that winning?
No, I mean, again, we're gonna have to look at the context. I think there has to be some really serious context for me to accept a 14th league finish, right? Okay. And I believe there is serious context, which is this season, which is why I'm accepting where we are in the league. Accepting not in a kind of it doesn't matter, but accepting just in a like, in my view, would any other manager that we're talking about who could take over? I know that Eugene was saying bring someone in who's got this, that, and the other. Like, would any other manager done better? Really? Do you think? I don't think that they would have done in the context of what we had. I don't think maybe we would have finished 12th and won the Europa League, but clearly, history and recent history would tell us that we wouldn't have won anything with any other manager, because we've had fucking 20 managers since the last time we won something significant, and they're not all shit. They're not all stupid. They're not all dumb. It's something really significant has happened, and I don't want this other thing, which is the league stuff, to take away from the significance of what happened yesterday. Because if we do, then we won't take advantage of it.
I'm going to come back to you on that significant thing, but I want to hear again from Marlon and Zeus on this topic of would you accept 14th and a trophy since now. And also, because I want to know what this means. Is this another 2008 Marlon, or is this like you've something is just different in the air? Because Tottenham was rammed. I didn't expect our stadium to be rammed yesterday, and it was rammed up. I think everyone was shocked. Like, I was thinking it would be empty, half empty because of the nerves. But even Bilbao was packed. Bloody hell, Tottenham was packed. The whole world was packed. The whole world was supporting Spurs. Anyway, sorry. Marlon,
to be fair, when Spurs are in these positions, semi-finals or finals, they get good turnouts now, no matter how our season's gone. That's one thing our fans are very loyal and optimistic with finals and semi-finals, even though we haven't been the greatest in them. But going back to your original question, finishing 14th in a cup, this season was just freakish because the injuries, but I don't know, some Spurs, I don't know why no one's actually taking it into consideration that the injuries actually played a key role. Everyone's just turning a blind eye to it. Make any of the top teams have the injuries we had and watch how they will suffer. Take out Saliba, take out Gabriel, take out their goalie, take out maybe 4 more other players out their team. Watch how they all suffer like Spurs. And you got to remember, we had them injuries. We're in a rebuild. We've lost our top striker, which was Kane. You got to give this guy some respect, because what he's done, he's brought the whole team together, the whole fan base together, I would say, even though it got a bit rocky this season. He's done that, but we've also achieved quite a lot just by winning this cup. So I would say it's a freaky season. I would give him, obviously he can continue to do his job, but I think you have to more focus on what he done in his first season at Spurs when he had his full team. So I'd say this season's a bit of a freak one, and I'm glad we won. But I can't see it happen again because we've got a strong team when everyone's fit. And these young players that played this season have gained a lot of experience because it's been rough. Look at Bergwijn. When he first came, first couple games, I was like, this guy's rubbish. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, this guy's good.
That's real, man. I thought it was crap.
And look at him, thriving. Gray's gonna thrive.
His growth has actually been insane. Yeah. It's like going to. I'm at an age now where it actually feels like I'm watching my kid grow up in front of me.
Oh yeah, that's
You know what I mean? It's like he looked like a child when he first came, and you're like, oh god, okay, what's going on? And then he's just bossing it, and he's strong, and he's positive. Like, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
And that's what it's been. A lot of there's been growth this year. A lot of the young players, and that's what's been key. So it's only gonna be good for them in the long run. So yeah, I would definitely keep him. I don't think it's gonna happen like this again. I just think those injuries, people just keep turning up blind and die to it. But I said, made it happen to like Liverpool. Liverpool's been stress-free. They had no injuries. Make injuries hit them. Man City's had injuries like Tottenham. Well, not as bad as us, but they've had injuries. Look at them. So
they won nothing.
They're gonna be up there. Say that again. Yeah. Sorry.
They've won nothing this year.
Yeah.
They might not even the Champions League. So
yeah. Zeus, and then I've got the final question for tonight. Zeus, what are you saying?
So the question is 14th in a cup or something like that?
Yeah.
Nah, no chance. No way. For me, like 3-year plan, big trophy, champs or the league. Like we have to make our mark now. I guess what you guys are going for the culture of winning, but nah. I think 3 seasons is enough to know if your manager has got it or not, right? So I'm expecting like if you got to be up there. Like I said, I'm probably giving 10 games. If we're mid-table and kind of struggling, he gets the chop. But this is it. Like I'm very much so. Like I said, free hit first year, second year any trophy, third year big trophy.
But Zeus, suppose you got your first 10 games on Man City, Newcastle away, Arsenal away, Liverpool, Chelsea. I'm just saying, even though it won't be.
I know, but you got to beat those teams anyways, right? Like I know the schedule might, strength of schedule and all that, but now you got to you have to prove that you're like good. You can compete at the highest level consistently. Like the Leicester thing. Okay, that was cool. That was one freakish season, and yes, they won, but they don't have that culture of winning. It wasn't a strong team where you're really competing year after year. So this is why the summer window is super important. Like we have to do like marquee names, that kind of thing. Like if you think about the spots available on the team, Werner, thankfully he's out, right? We could bring a big name in there. Tell, I don't know. I'm still but if we don't get him, you can bring a big name in there. Richarlison get I think this is it. This is the go time to kind of keep the momentum. So for me,
he said as much, though, didn't he? Though Andrew said as much. He's like, he wants to stick. He wants the opportunity to continue, and he knows that now, what this team needs is to add some experience because you can't do it. You can't do everything in one go. And I have no issue with us investing in players like Bergwijn and Archie Gray, and I have no issue in that because the reason why a team like Leicester was a one-off is because they were seasoned professionals that were never going to get there again. That wasn't a team of young academy players that had come through the ranks. It was a team of it was an unbelievable story, and I think it was incredible for the sport. But you were talking about a lot of players who knew that they would never be there again, and our aim cannot be that. Our aim has to be longevity and structures in place. And this is why I don't think this is anything like the Ten Hag situation, because United fucked their football structure, their recruitment structure, the integration of Jim Ratcliffe is like he's like an evil cartoon character. Like if he was anywhere near my club, I'd be really, really disappointed. The guy, they wouldn't even pay for fucking players' families to come over to they'd organise some like fucking barbecue that the players probably had to chip in a $5 for their burgers or something. Like the whole environment there is not conducive to what we're trying to build. And we have a team.
A lot of debt, though.
Yo, I want to say big shout out to Daniel Levy.
Apparently Man United are in a lot of debt. That's why.
I get it. I get it. There's probably reasons, but he's doing it like publicly. The atmosphere that came out of all of the press conference was just one of negativity. It was just one of like, this doesn't, it was. I would have been, if I was a United fan, I'd have been, and I've got lots of friends who are, and they were pissed off. We felt like we were part of something, and I think that this is my biggest point, which has always been my biggest point with Ange, is we have not had any whisperings or murmurings of any player having issues with the guy. No one's downing tools. Despite our league form, he has not lost the dressing room. Conte, Mourinho, they lost the dressing room because unless you're succeeding under those dictators who suck all the joy out of footballing life, unless you're succeeding, you're just going to be miserable. When you're succeeding, you put up with it. With Postecoglou, none of those players are turned on him. They all love the guy. And we've actually got players that we love as fans who are literally at that club because of this guy, because of the way this guy talks to them, because of the way this guy creates a picture of what they're going to be a part of. Now, how we make this success, not like 2008, is by sticking to a plan and building a culture. 2008 was won by Juan de Ramos, man. The guy was gone within a few games of the following season, and we started again. I'm not saying we should have kept him. All I'm saying is that we should have struck upon something and stuck with it and created something. We can't keep starting again. Man.
Real. But what are your expectations, taking on Dan the Gaffer's point? I guess what are you, because Arthur, you always had this belief, you and Marlon, and that's why you guys are here tonight. You always had this underlying belief that Ange could do this. You had this underlying belief that Ange is probably better than Poch and is going to achieve more than Poch, which he has done. And I just want to see what you're seeing, and based on what you're seeing, what are you seeing for maybe next season and potentially the season after? That little roadmap that Zeus kind of gave. Because for me, I'll be honest with you, I always said this season, I don't care what we do as long as we're in the Champions League. The cut was a bonus for me. I just said I want Champions League football. I said at the end of the season, Tottenham must be in the Champions League, and I'm so delighted we're in the Champions League and we've got a trophy. I'm with Zeus. I am hoping we go back to, top 4 and we pick up an FA Cup, that sort of thing. Then I know, we got this Ange is legit. If he can do that next season, then mate, he can stay for the rest of his life.
You wouldn't say our team's strong enough to be challenging?
This current team,
a few.
Yeah, you wouldn't say
we need about 5 players.
Really?
In what position?
For me, Eugene made a point about our midfield being a bit inconsistent. Like Maddison hasn't been consistent enough for me. I would happily replace Maddison with Acuna. That I know that is maybe not but I just want a gunman in the 10. But if Maddison can get back to fitness and be the Maddison that started the season last season, then I'm happy for Maddison. I'm not happy with our wingers. I don't think it's Tell. I don't think it's Richarlison. I think Brennan Johnson could be like how Trossard is for Arsenal. I think he could be an impact.
He's not a starter.
Winger, but I don't think he's a starter. So I would love to bring in an Eze. I would love to bring in maybe a Semenyo. I would love to bring in like a Gomez or a Adam Walton. Do you know what I mean? Those type of players into our team, because even Basuma has been hot. He's a bit wishy-washy. Papsar had a great game yesterday, wishy-washy. Bentancur, wishy-washy. I know they've had long-term injuries, but we can't afford for another wishy-washy season. Do you know what I mean?
Bentancur's been all right.
I think Bentancur's been good. I wouldn't say Bentancur. I think
maybe he's not been vintage Bentancur then. Because, Bentancur, I always see him like a Rolls Royce, a bit classy. He's been all right, but he's not been Bentancur, you know what I mean?
They don't exist in isolation, do they, Dej? Like a lot of this, and this is context. Again, it's not excuses. Yeah. But a lot of these players, you're talking about players who when they've played, have lacked consistency, but they've also, for no fault of their own, they've lacked consistent partners in the area in which they play. Our midfield three has necessarily rotated so much, and like Marlon said about people assuming that a player comes back from injury and then suddenly they should be back how they were 3 months before before they got injured. The truth is that when people are injured, they're not even training with their players. And we spoke about this last couple of times as well. The level of training at Tottenham during the middle of that season, when all the shit hit the fan, was obviously incredibly low because we were using academy players to make up numbers. All the work is done in the training field, and the joy is Saturday when Saturday and Sunday comes. And I think it's not. I'm not saying that none of those players should be sold. I think as a club, we have to get smarter at selling players at a time when they have value, and the way Man City do. And like we can get into this in another pod, but we've also got to bring in some money because we don't have PSR issues, but we have cash flow issues, which have been helped by going to the Champions League. But I think we're going to see at least one, maybe two exits of very, very good players, and I think we have to just suck it up. And I think one of those might be Romero, because we can get good money for him, and I think we have to be good at and not holding on to players for, we need to be bigger than a player. We need to go, okay, let's get money for this player and then continue. We need
Sorry.
I think Danzo can do a job for Romero anyway.
Sorry,
I like it.
Who else do you think is in that list?
Well, I don't necessarily think that this would be hugely surprising because he's only got 1 year left in his contract. But I think if we could get 20 million quid for Bissouma, I think he might not be here. And I also wonder, depending on how it works, Atletico Madrid coming in for Bentancur. I'm not saying this is what I want to happen. I'm just saying that like we have to be better as a club at selling players at value. Well, of course, and I think Richarlison may well go. I just think like there's going to be some not upheaval, but I think that we're going to see some significant changes, even if Ange stays. Yeah.
Would you say if those three players, if a team came in for Bissouma, Romero, and Bentancur, would you say we should sell them?
I would. I mean, the context being is like who are we going to bring in? But I wouldn't want to sell Bentancur. But if we can get 60 plus 70 plus million for Romero, and he's going to Spain, I think we all know in our heart of hearts that the guy wants to play for a big team in La Liga.
That's true.
And I think as good as a player as he is, I think we have to do those deals nice and quickly so that they don't hang around like a bad smell and that we don't feel like we've been mocked.
No, the only reason I said I thought you were saying get rid of the three of them. I
don't want to get rid of Bentancur. Yeah. I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me if two of those three were where we got some money.
I can't see them selling two of them just for the experience alone.
No, I agree. I mean, and then I think we've got the Johnny Cardoso option from Real Betis, and he's had a decent season. So,
who is he? I don't know. Is he a good player?
When we sold Giovanni Lo Celso to Real Betis for like 5 million quid and a couple of penny sweets, I think we did a deal where we had an option on Johnny Cardoso for 25 million, and if any other club comes in, that for them, we have to be asked if we want to match their offer. And he's a number 6.
Yeah, just add to that. I did read something that he's not keen on coming. So
yeah, and that may be, yeah, but he might not have watched the game yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Fair enough. Champions League, yeah. So
the one that I see really happening is I have Richarlison on Instagram, and 2 or 3 days ago he posted himself in an Everton kit.
Everton kit.
Context.
He's been doing that. He's been doing
context
that.
There's context for that.
No.
What is the context?
The context was that he was saying that Goodison Park was his. He loved Goodison Park, and it was the last league game at Goodison Park, man. Like he was an Everton. He was an Everton legend, and he was posting a photo of himself playing at Goodison Park on the day that stadium was closed. Like
Because
we've
I've
got
seen him
Lucas,
say a couple of times.
we've got Lucas Moura doing photos of him wearing a Spurs top whilst playing for a team in Brazil. Like these players care. They you know, they're not charlatans. He was invested in that club. Like,
okay, fair enough.
I'm not saying we shouldn't get rid of him, but I don't think he's angling for a return to Everton.
Okay, fair,
So just a couple good shouts from the chat. I see someone saying, you know, signing Modric back because he's a free agent. Hey, experienced, won everything under the sun, could do a job.
At 45.
Yo, experience, man. What was that?
Don't go back.
What was the guy that Liverpool had? The old guy. Milner. He was doing the job, right? So
is Modric 41? Is he 41 for real? We don't want 41.
Modric ain't gonna do nothing. The Premiership too fast.
It's been mad. Never.
Yo, everything.
Marlon,
it's just never going to be a thing. It's never going to be a thing.
Marlon, why are you not answering this question? Next season, what are you hoping for our club?
Say that again. What was the question?
What are you hoping for Spurs next season? Under Ange, what for Ange to keep doing what he's doing, for you to be happy, doing his job, because you and Arthur I would like to say are the Mr. Realists. Yeah, don't get too carried away. Do you know what I mean? Take it one step at a time, lads. 8th is not so bad with context. You know, like that. I'm joking.
Context.
Yeah, context. You guys, context specialists. That's what you're saying the next season.
Maybe it's experience. we're very experienced, and I think we'll do all right. From once we get the right players in, and it's about having a good balance, we'll be all right. I think last season alone showed me that Spurs and can do good in the league. They got 5th position, and as I keep saying, we've done that without our main striker. Let's be honest, if we had Kane, we'd be way up there doing so much better. But what he's working with, and the actual team Tottenham have now, especially this, let's say going forward, Son's not the same. He's pretty old now. Johnson scores the odd goal now and again, but let's be honest, he ain't really a winger. So we're working with tools that are not really the best at the moment, but he's getting the best out of them. But I think once we get more addition to the team, we'll be fine. And I think there's a lot to be offered from, let's say, Olderberg and Tell. So, as I said, this year has been a growing season, and even Mikey Moore. I think we'll do all right next season, to be fair. I'm just happy, as I said, we won this. Got this monkey off our back, and you'll see a lot more from Spurs going forward.
And no one can banter us. So, finally, details. The parade is tomorrow. It's 5:30. It's kicking off at Enfield.
No, Edmonton Green.
Edmonton Green, sorry. And then I don't even know what the route is. Zeus, are you flying in by some sort of stealth private jet?
I wish, man. I wish, man. I was like, fuck, I should be in Bilbao. Like, fucking hell.
Oh, man. Yeah.
For real. And Arthur, you going to be there?
I can't be. I can be there on Sunday. I'll be taking my seat at Sunday, but I missed it. I would have been in Bilbao if it wasn't for work, and I would have been there for tomorrow if it wasn't for work. But I can get back for Sunday, and I watch all the pictures. I watch all the videos. I'll sit in my flat on my own at night and cry about how happy I am that we've broken the fucking duck, that we've stepped into another level. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for Sunday. Playing a game at home in that stadium. And I really want to hear Ange Postecoglou's name sung over and over and over and over again. And I want the hierarchy in our club to have the balls to back a guy. And
they've got back him now. He's not had the tools. Really.
But when I say back him, I don't just mean money in transfers. I think he's been pretty content with that. I mean attitude. He what's the right word? When he suggested in his comments that there were people in the club who knew what his approach was with regards to the league and Europa League, and that they didn't agree with him.
That's true.
And he said, "I understand that, It's not easy. It's not easy for a club of this size to buy into one person's vision. But when you do, you take that risk, you win something. And now that he's done that, I just really hope that people look at the evidence and go, do you know what? Let's see what giving this guy a year and everyone buying in and everyone committing just to see what happens. We ain't going to get relegated, guys. And we haven't won a trophy for European trophy for 41 years. So we can, if we don't win or get one next season, like it's okay. You know what I mean?
I gave myself 10 years. I'm all right for 10 years.
Man, have you got 5 more minutes?
Crazy.
Have you got 5 more minutes?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I want to invite Adrian. If you're there, let me invite you. He's a really
You said something earlier as well.
Is it my man, Adrian?
Adrian, jump on. He's got a question for us. But Adrian,
you said something earlier as well.
Yeah,
Who's a better manager? Who would you say is better, Poch or Ange? That's a bit of a tricky.
Adrian, big up to you. Adrian, Spurs Die Hard TV. Everyone, if you haven't been there, make sure you go there. Excellent content. Look, for me, I love Poch. I thought we were amazing, and he was unfortunate.
Football.
Just because you don't get it over the line doesn't mean you're not a good manager.
Yeah, plus tougher competition.
And now is, I think Poch is the better manager, but Ange just gets the results. And actually, if you're asking me, what would I choose? Do I choose the one that has us looking legit and has us becoming the big six and competing for the league and title? I would say Poch. I'm not sure we can compete for the league on the Ange, but that's not me being negative. I'm just a bit like you guys. I'm seeing him more as a kind of as a cup manager. But I don't mind the cups because people have slapped me in the face all year about the cups. But big up Adrian in the building. He's who do you think? And big up Adrian. Thank you for coming in there, celebrating. See, we're all up. The Tottenham fans. Oh, we ain't sleeping because we're celebrating.
I want to take your guest phone numbers to add them to my WhatsApp group so I can invite them on my shows as well. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. Don't worry.
You put your phone numbers and your names in. I'll get in contact with you. Yeah, I'm just wondering. You know, I thought Andrew was going anyway. It's funny how perceptions change after you win something, and like everyone's looking younger. All the stress has gone out of their bodies. They're all looking younger and de-stressed, like. And yeah, it was brilliant at the stadium yesterday. I'm going to Parade tomorrow, and I'll be at Brighton home game when I parade the cup again. So that'll be brilliant, won't it? You know, the end of season thing. So, but yeah, and then I was thinking today, well, all the players have backed him. They stood behind him. We see it in all them away games in Europe, how united the squad was when they all leapt off the bench when we got results. So that hasn't been a question. Although the press have been scummy as usual and tried to be divisive of us. Like, now they've got to find a new dog to beat with a stick. They're screwed, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, to find something else. But yes, I was thinking. I'm going to ask this question to my lot tomorrow as well. Like, if Levy sacks Ange, how badly do you think that would affect the players going into the next season? Or would they just think, oh, it happens, people come and leave a job, it won't matter that much difference?
I think it's a problem. I think it would be a problem, Adrian. I think that there's something different about this guy. There are players at that club, at our club, especially the young players, who are there because of him. And this is for some of the really young ones, this is the first experience. We've now got like 18, 19, 20-year-old winners, like people who know what it is to win already at that age. And they will attribute that to the gaffer because that's what they do. They look at the person who's the the head of the band, the person who's beating the drum, the person who's inspiring, the person who they're following, and then they love him. They love him. Look at pulling out that banner, saying that Maddison and I think it was even Reguilon. I mean, even Reguilon likes the guy, and he's been ostracized. Like even players who don't play are like, there's no point not liking this guy because
Timo Werner was signing his medal.
And you know why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? I don't care. The guy, like why not? And I think when you're holding up banners as players, reminding everyone he doesn't usually win in the second year, he always does. and dancing around with. It's vibes. It's vibes time, and that vibes time doesn't exist with every manager. Like he's a culture creator. Like that's his thing. And I think it's hard to compare someone like Postecoglou with Pochettino. Different time, different squad, different stage, different competition, different ages. I would say that probably Ange Postecoglou is a better manager of people. He's a better manager of his emotions, and he's a better manager of the bigger picture because of his experience and where he's come from. I would say, arguably, Pochettino might be a more interesting coach. I don't know, but I just think that they're from different schools, they're different countries, different backgrounds, different experiences in the game. I think Ange just showed himself to be a real manager of people, and no matter which way we look at it, it's a people game. You've got a squad of players, and if they like you and they believe in you and they follow you, you've got a better chance to succeed. And that's what we have with our coach, man.
Yeah, and of course the win. I mean, you go into the deeper impact of the win, and you start talking about a minimum of 90 mil next year. You start talking about time we play this Super Cup game, we'll have raked in another 40 million. That's 130 million. We only average about 120 million a season on transfers anyway. And that's if Romero stays now, you're still going to get 60, 70 mil for the other players. So there's no excuse for going in this transfer window. We in theory would have about 200 mil, unless Levy wants some of this money to fund the hotel, you know. So, and he could be out, he'll have enough to do both anyway, to take some of it and do that if he wants to. So I just think it's so huge. And I actually renewed my season ticket today on the strength of it. I wasn't going if we didn't get Champions League, but yeah. So
that's big.
I think. Sorry.
I said that's big. I mean, and like you said, I mean, look, even me, I put my hand up and say, look, I don't want to say a naysayer. I think with context, I had every right to come with the energy that I was coming with. But at the same time, sometimes you have to let the players know and the manager know that, look, it isn't acceptable. And the one thing I respect Ange for and the players is not shying away from the fact that the season hasn't been great. But this is in his words, this is an opportunity for us to do something significant, you know, and that was the language that Ange has used, and he has done something significant. I've spoken to a number of Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans. I've been getting congratulated left, right, and centre, and thank you to them because it's very sporting of them to congratulate. But at the same time, I do feel like, wow. Yeah. But I'm hoping, and it hasn't quite. No one's quite answered this. Arthur's shirked on this a little bit politely. Marlon shirked on it. Zeus has shirked on it. No one's saying, I think this is gonna open the floodgates of heaven, and we're gonna kick on and win trophies and compete.
I think that.
Yeah.
No, I think for the win, it doesn't paper over the cracks in the squad, though. I mean, we've still got to go in the window, and we still need to upgrade, you know, because it's a long and like look at the moment we all know we're realistic to know that like Champions League is not the Europa League, right? We're not winning it. We're going to get 8 games that bring in loads of money, though, but depending on the window, and you don't have to spend fortunes on players. There aren't that many Galactico type players out there, even in the like. You know, there ain't many like £70 million players out there that are available anyway. I mean, but we'll get a better choice of player now we're in the Champions League. We'll get a better choice because players want European football, don't they? So that'll be good. And and if we do get a new manager, I want one that like doesn't mind bringing kids through. And I want to see, I want to see Conley, Moore, Lancashire, and Vuskovic on that pre-season tour as a minimum. Whether Ajay goes or Stacey goes, or I've watched a lot, or Tyrus Hall, or I'd like George Abbott to go on that tour. He smashed it.
Mate, he's smashing it at County, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's having an unbelievable season at Notts County,
and he plays like midfield, and he can drop into back 4 as well. So and like
I'd like to see Alfie Devine, man. You know.
He lost a year, didn't he, at Portsmouth when they changed managers? And
but he's been doing well. He's been doing well in Belgium.
Vuskovic has absolutely smashed it at Westerlo with Devine. I mean, he's got 7 goals in 20 odd games as a centre back. He says
18-year-old centre back.
Yeah, he's not the quickest, but But he's tall, so he should have a stride, and he's young, so he could get quicker. He was only 18 in February, and that's why we couldn't bring him in and add him to the squad, because I don't think they'll loan him out again. I'd be surprised if they do. You know, we're not short of goalkeepers. Keely's done well at Orient, 16 clean sheets in all them games, and they got the playoff final Sunday, didn't they? I think Orient.
Donnelly's done well at Orient.
Yeah, they're playing Charlton on Sunday, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, Spurs fans, near and far, we have won. We are cup holders. We are champions of Europe. Final comments from each of you. We get to look forward to playing PSG or Inter Milan.
Are all you guests in America or not?
No, I'm London.
I'm in Canada.
Canada.
I'm London.
This is Canada.
I've added the two of you. Put your phone numbers in a private. I'll add you to our Spurs WhatsApp group. Deji's in it as well. That's
Great.
So just quickly, Super Cup. Does it matter? Do we want to win it? Final comments. And I'll
I
start
think
with
we'd have a better chance against Milan than we would against PSG. If PSG are on point, we'd just get smashed. Right? So, I mean, Milan is probably, you could play Milan at their own game, so.
Yeah,
I think
Adrian says you will go for Milan. We can beat it. We can take Inter, but we won't take PSG. Zeus?
I mean, I just see it as a good way to measure where you need to be in terms of just opposition. So I don't put anything in that game. I don't really care per se. It's just, you can use this as okay, what do we need to do from a transfer window perspective to really step up and get up there in terms of
it's the European equivalent of the Charity Shield, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. What do we need to get to the next level? So
it counts as a major trophy, no?
No, don't be
August the 13th. That's a Wednesday, isn't it? So it's been played on August the 13th on a Wednesday. So yeah, I think the ground only holds about 26,000.
Yeah, it's in Italy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Udine in Italy.
Oh,
it's on my list of things to sort out. That's where I'm telling my missus we're having our holiday on August.
I'll see you at the Udine airport, Arthur.
Spurs fans will have already booked the flights and hotels. Put down the stuff already, because
no, it's not far. It's not far from Venice, man. So have a little.
It's not far from Venice.
No, it's not too far. Venice and Trieste. It's not too far. Yeah.
All right, fair.
So you can go to Venice for a few days, get there a couple of days early, go to Venice, then go back to Venice.
Verona.
Well, let me know. We can road trip it, road trip, in my little mini.
Not a bad idea. I think that's actually a good idea.
I think so. It could be done. I want to win the Super Cup. It will be 2 trophies that I can tell them Arsenal fans to hold that, and hold that. I'm up for winning it personally myself. Marlon, Arthur, and then we'll call it a night.
What was the question again? Sorry.
Super Cup. Do we win it?
We could do.
Major trophy.
You know what it is? I believe we can. I think Spurs. I think us as fans need to be more. Let me not say realistic. Understand our team. Tottenham team, when everyone's fully fit, is good. Yeah. If you think about it, if we have Kulu, Son, and even Solanke as our front three with our midfield, we're all right. It's only because there's been so much mishmash teams and rotation is kind of killing us. But with a fully fit team, we can match a lot of people. And I think just because we haven't experienced it enough this season, and whenever we have had maybe a full team, it was only the beginning, but every other time players are coming back and not fully fit, it's been a problem and people just judging straight away. But give them a pre-season and you'll see Tottenham do pretty well. We could win that Super League. Even if we were to play PSG, it'll be hard because they'll ping it around. But I believe Spurs can do it because give that defense some respect. That defense, and even with Bentancur and even Basuma, they showed when them two played together, let's say for the past 3 or 4 games they've been together, they've been pretty solid. But it's just going forward, it's a bit of a hit and miss. But I believe in this team. I believe the young players that have experienced this season, they're going to shine next year. Olderberg,
Well,
Burwell,
that's
Gray, Tell. They're gonna shine even more. They just need to bulk up a bit. They're gonna shine next year because they've experienced a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good point you make, because I'm going to bring up tomorrow as well, because they've shown the winning mentality and they can dig in, and they've done it in Brentford away, stank the place out at West Ham, did it at Frankfurt, did it at Bodo Glint. These young players, and we're a very young team, they have shown up, right? They've showed they've got a winning mentality. So now you've won the trophy. They're going into next season with such belief and confidence. They will play better. You'll see more growth and progress in the Premier League, right? Champions League depends who we meet, so there's no reason.
We will meet Bayern Munich for sure. Kane is coming home next season. You can see it's already written in the stars for Kane to come back home.
Well, we've got
final comments.
Three friendlies to look forward to. We're playing Newcastle in Singapore, then we're playing Arsenal in South Korea.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got Bayern Munich do a cup. We're at the Alliance Stadium again. We're playing Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So Levy will earn a few quid on the tour, so. Yes.
Easy money. Arthur, last comments?
We're looking for players to be given game time, aren't we? And
I think what Marlon said is really sound. What we have is young players who probably, well, the gaffer has said as much, have played more games than you would have planned based on the fact that we've had so many injuries. Archie Gray has played 45 games for Tottenham this season. He played 52 games for Leeds last season. The kid is a kid. He's a boy, and he's been playing centre half and right back and starting to try and find his way in the middle of the park. Like the experience, looking at those photos yesterday of Archie Gray with his top off, he looks like a 15-year-old. Do you know what I mean? And the experience for these young players is invaluable. And this is the thing, what you can't do is go back in time and change shit, right? We all know that. So how do you move forward? You take the positives of what we have. And the positive from this league season, and forget about Europa League, but the positive from the league season is that it's not going to get much harder than that. It's not going to get much. We're not likely to have that level of pain of concentrated injuries again. And the players have stood up and oftentimes put in incredible shifts and have played out of position and ultimately have been part of a squad that have won something for the first time in God knows how long. So the positives are huge. I think going into the Super Cup game, it's not going to define us as a club whether we win it or not, but we want to win stuff, man. We want that feeling. We want to go, this is who we are. We're a team that wins stuff. We're a club of players who knows what it is to win. We're not going to win every game. We're not going to win the league next year. We're not going to win the Champions League, like Adrian pointed out. But not winning a competition does not stop you from being winners. We are now proved that we can win something significant.
Hold on, let me stop you there. Sorry. You see, before we had the key injuries, you know where Tottenham was in the league? Before we had the injuries to Romero, Van der Ven.
Like fourth, fifth or something?
I think we're third or fourth.
Yeah.
That's a challenge this year because Man City are not what they are.
Liverpool.
I know. So I won't knock you on that.
No, 100%. Like, obviously, I'm not doing us down. I'm just talking about I'm talking about when you look at something that you're planning over a period of time, you have to have realistic expectations, right? And you have to look at and it's not just about how much money you spend. We've seen teams spunk loads of money and not gel, and we've seen teams not spend much money and they get by on the fact that they're an incredible team ethic. There isn't a one size fits all sort of thing, but I believe that for us to next season with the squad that we have and how much we can possibly build that squad in the summer, there's a limit, not just on what we're willing to spend, but what is a smart amount of change. Change too much, it's a problem. Change too little, it's a problem. So
Andrew's shown he can adapt, though, isn't he? He did it in the away games in Europe. He said he sets up different for Europe. I mean, and he's not clueless. I mean, let's be fair to the man. I know there's still a large proportion of the fan base like see him gone, maybe half. I don't know. It might be less than that now that we've won the trophy. Attitudes can quickly change. A week's a long time in football, So. But if you take last season, he loses arguably the best player in Harry Kane, doesn't he? We go 10 games undefeated, 8 wins and 2 draws. Then VDV gets injured, key player. Madison's ankle goes, he's out. And then Matty Cash does Bentancur, ACL, he's out. And then Basuma, he's got to start, you know what I mean? I still think he should go. But I mean, like, he had 3 suspensions. Romero had 1 suspension. The players went out on international duty and come back, and we finished 5th. And people saying we're playing suicide football. And like this season, they're saying, oh, we need to get rid of the invert. Well, hang about. What inverted fullbacks? Porro inverts, yes. Udogie doesn't. He hugs the touchline. He does cut in rarely, but it's like yesterday was fantastic as well. They all were. But I mean, like, yeah. So Andrew's not clueless. I think he's earned the right for another season, because if it didn't go quite to plan, but we still ended up in a European place, then you could see someone like Poch coming back.
Yep.
But
do you not think also, Adrian, that the way some people talk is as though people don't learn. Like Ange Postecoglou, like every human being, will sit back and review and go, I could have done this differently, I could have done that differently, and he'll learn. What he won't do is come out and tell you all what he's learning, because that's stupid. The guy is constantly learning about his team, learning about what it is to be Tottenham manager. And one thing he learned coming into our club.
Who among us or those viewers would have picked that midfield yesterday? Because I didn't. I had Sarr left on the bench because I thought if we get a booking or something like that, we need to bring a midfielder on, you know, if we get worried about getting a sending off. And then, like, who would have thought Sonny wouldn't start? I thought he would definitely start. But it worked a dream, didn't you? There was so many good performances out there. You know?
That's where the slight difference, and not wishing to compare, but jumping back to the Pochettino-Postecoglou thing. Because of his experience, because of where he's come from, because of constantly having to just exist whilst everyone tells him he's stupid and shit, but still win things. He has the courage and balls to not let emotion drive his selection and to leave Son on the bench. Yeah. We all don't want to like go over old things, but in 2019, I think it was debatable whether we should have been starting Harry Kane in that final.
Yeah,
and that's what we have in Postecoglou. We have someone who's going, if this goes wrong, it's on me. If it goes right, congratulate the players. That's brilliant. That is what we need in order to make the next step.
Yeah.
And to me, he made a brave call yesterday with Son and Richie, because that was a brave call. But Richie, to me, done.
Richie's been playing well.
He played well. Look, Johnson got through a shift yesterday as well. They all did. I mean, I was loving the Romero-Maguire clashes. I was loving that. Like, Romero wasn't taking none of it, and Maguire's about a foot taller than him. Like,
South American
on his forehead, like, you know. But I mean, he wasn't having none of that. But when they were giving man of the matches at Wolves, I get it. You could have given it quite a few players, actually. I mean, he picked Sarr. It was Sarr's drive from midfield that led for the goal. When he picks the ball up, I think just inside our half, or was it just inside their half? And he drove forward at them. And then we had a few passes, eventually comes over. Johnson, 17 goals, 6 assists, or whatever it is. He is, I've warmed to him because I didn't want him at the club when I first see him on videos. But you can't ignore the amount of goals he's scored. And he seems to have the striker's instinct of being in the right place at the right time. And that's not a tapping merchant. You've got to get there. You've got to anticipate that. You have to have an instinct. You've got to know they've been doing that far post stuff on the training ground. So
you've got to keep doing it, even though the ball hasn't reached you for the first 8 times. You still got to do it with a smile on your face.
And look, I mean, I know nerves probably got to Vicari. Flapped at one ball. He should have fumbled. He should have caught it. And there was a couple of instances he looked a little bit shaky, but he wasn't crap with the distribution yesterday. He kicked everything long virtually, didn't he? We didn't try and play out from the back, right? Caused ourselves problems. And he pulled off some good saves. The down one that looked like was going in, he palmed away low, you know. And VDV's save on the goal line, I mean, that was something else as well, like, you know. So, yeah, I mean,
it was great. No, I agree. And look, Spurs fans, look, let's enjoy it. We've won. Suck it up. This hopefully will be a regular for us. It's so good. Look, we're going to be talking on different streams. Make sure you tap into Adrian Spurs TTID, Spurs Till I Die. I've got my good friend Marlon, my good friend Zeus, my good friend Arthur, my good friend Adrian joining, good friend Eugene as well, who was with us early. We are up. We are going to be celebrating for weeks, tearing up your timelines. And all for those Arsenal fans out there, yes, your nightmare has become a reality. We are going to be non-stop from now until the end of next season.
And we've all got a nice warm glow inside, and that's going to stay with us all next season. Right? A warm glow inside. No one can say anything to us or throw anything as we get a free next season. Oh yeah, what you won then? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, what you won?
And I have to say this: I said some negative comments to Ange, but on reflection, I'm so happy he's delivered, and I want nothing more. The brother, the gentleman, wants to be a Spurs manager for as long as possible, and that for me, I respect that. When he walked in, he said, "I have the privilege and blessing to work at Tottenham Hotspur, one of the biggest teams in the world. I worked my way to get here." And it's very clear from his speech yesterday, from throughout the season, he has no intention of leaving us anytime soon. And if someone can love my club who has no affinity to my club, but can show more love, more faith than some Spurs fans, including myself at points this season, then he's got my vote.
I came home from the stadium quick, nipped in the Tesco Express, got a couple of beers, a bottle of red wine, come home. I thought, right, I'm going to go live. It wasn't normally a show. I looked this morning, it was 3 hours. I don't know much about it. I bet I was right. I bet it was cringeworthy at times, but and did 3 hours show, and up to about 2 o'clock in the morning or something. Well, I didn't know what time I went to bed actually, because I was well out of it. But where did you guys watch the show, and how did you celebrate? Were you if you got family, obviously you got to stay sober and stuff like that. If you're single, you can do what you want, can't you? So, where did you guys celebrate?
I was with my dad and nephew. I thought it was a moment I should watch with my dad, because he's seen the pain and sorrow. So it was a nice moment for him to watch it. So.
Well, that because you're with family, that'll be a memory that'll stay with you forever.
Yeah.
What about you, Zeus? What did you celebrate it?
Man, I went to watch it at a United bar. I didn't know it was a United bar, so
how could you? What were you doing, bro?
My friends had to watch the game, and people had to warn me that I've never seen a Canadian sports bar like that. It was proper rowdy. I had to hide my kid. I didn't celebrate the goal, and then right after, I had to drop a friend off at the airport. So, there are not too many Spurs fans I know personally. Most of the guys I know, most of the Nigerian friends I have, are like United or Arsenal. So. It's low key. I've been going crazy in the WhatsApp groups and everything. Well, that's pretty much it. We'll see if I can do. I might go streaking by myself on Young Street. Low key celebration so far.
Arthur, what about you?
Mine was stressful. I would have been in Bilbao with my old man. My dad was in Bilbao. I would have been there, but I'm on a job at the moment, and I'm an actor, and I'm working in a show, and so. My way of dealing with this, and it's happened before, and it's a fucking nightmare, is I had an iPad in the wings of the theatre, and the iPad was on in the wings, and every time I ran off doing a quick change before going back on stage, I was watching the fucking TV. I saw most of the first half because of the way it landed. I saw our goal, and I was in and out for the every half. I didn't get most of the second half, and every time
the stress of being on stage combined with the stress of watching on the iPad.
I cannot believe every time someone who's been watching it in the wing comes on stage, I'm looking at their face to see whether I can tell whether someone has scored, because I'm looking. Oh, he's a United fan, and he looks a bit pissed off, but he's playing a happy character. Okay, cool. We're still winning. We're still winning. It's the most stressful experience. And then I got off, and just before I had to go on for the final scene was the final whistle. It was a joy. I'll never forget it. But I was in the wings, getting dressed, and then I saw the final whistle, and I was just, because I can't scream because there's fucking 500 people in the theater, I was just running around going.
I've never seen so many tears of joy at that stadium. Like, I was all right myself. I had 2 beers at the stadium, and I don't normally drink at the stadium at all during games, but like I just needed a couple of drinks just to calm myself down. But what about you, Diddy? Would you watch it?
I did. I came back from work late, but in time to do a watch along. So I did it live and direct in my living room. At the last 5 minutes, I was hugging the chair.
I saw that, man. I saw that bit.
It was real. That wasn't a performance, man. That was a true feeling. I couldn't sit on the chair.
I'll have to get a shot of the guy engraving the cup.
Yeah.
Because that's when you really believe it. Your name's on it, you know what I mean? So,
You know what I mean? When you saw it, I thought, amazing.
It feels like funky. I don't know if that's Deji alone,
Yeah,
but
I think it might be Tej.
Is it me?
Yeah.
you might, yeah.
it's good now. I think it's good now.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I'm gonna have to
brilliant.
jump off, boys. I'm gonna have to jump off.
Yeah, we're wrapping up now. I just want to say thank you to the super chats. Lee's thrown in some super chats. Thank you, Lee. He's thrown in 2 there. SD Football as well. Big up to you. Come on, you Spurs. And our brother over there in Glasgow, Sean. Big up to you in the building.
I like
Sean,
Sean.
all of us will be around on Sunday. So if anything, we will see you at the stadium. So I don't know why my mic went a bit muffled. It's the joy and the passion oozing from my body into the laptop, which is fumbling with the mic frequency. But look, gentlemen, Arthur, Zeus, Marlon, Adrian, thank you for being there. It was supposed to be half an hour. We've done an hour 45. Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash the like and have a good day.
Come on.